Thank you for the lovely people on Patreon for supporting your boy, Mr. Right Way. This makes me so excited! So excited! Now let's get into the video.
What's up, everybody? I'm back once again with the professor of retro, Mr. John Hancock.
So glad to be here.
Once again, we got the same clothes on too, y'all.
Yeah, that's all good.
And I am Mr. Right Way, guys. Now, a lot of you guys always sending me questions, what to collect for. Well, I'm gonna tell you here in 2023, and if you're watching this video in 2050, this video should help you. So, we have narrowed it down to 5 great consoles to collect for. And we're starting off with my current favorite one, the incredible PlayStation 4. Now, this is the Pro model.
Yes.
Now,
my Pro model.
This is your Pro model.
Yeah.
You already put it back in the box because...
Right. I transferred everything from this to my PlayStation 5.
Yes.
And so I know the Pro model is harder to get, but if you can find it, it is like the best version of PlayStation 4, faster load times. And, you know, but you don't have to get that.
No.
You can go with a standard PlayStation 4, and the thing is, it's still relevant.
Yeah.
You can still get these used at GameStop.
Cheap.
Cheap, and the games are everywhere.
And you can get these cheaper at a pawn shop too, guys. They are clearing these out at pawn shops.
Yeah, now's the time to start collecting for the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
As even I would even say, even if you want to dive into VR, PSVR, I know you recently did a video about that.
Yeah, the PS1 VR is super cheap, guys. People are selling those at below prices, and if you have not done VR and you want to tip your toe in the water and you don't want to spend over $600 for the new VR, get the PSVR one. And also GameStop. I know a lot of you GameStop haters are out there. Listen to me. GameStop is doing like 4 for 10, like 4 for 20. So many good games at GameStop. They are cheap on the PlayStation 4. They are doing deals. Wait for like Easter sales, Black Friday sales, summer sales, New Year's sales. PlayStation 4 is super cheap to find right now. And they got so many good games. But talking about good games, we got a system that has so many good games. And it's almost considered retro, but John, tell them about this next one.
Yeah, so this one to me, I would say if you're gonna pick one console, it's kind of the sweet spot. It's kind of retro, but it's still fairly modern. And that's the Xbox 360. Great controller. I know the hardware has some issues, but if you can find working hardware, there's people that work on them. There's a huge library of games, some fantastic Halo games, Gears of War. You know, I got Gears of War 2 here.
That's my favorite Gears of War.
There's lots of exclusives too on the 360. And
you was talking about this game a few minutes ago.
Oh yeah. So Namco Museum Virtual Arcade's a great collection.
It's hard game, and hard to find the game too.
Yes.
You need to find that one.
But this one's a cheap one. Diablo 3. Yes, they made Diablo 3 for the 360, and it's fairly good.
You can walk into a pawn shop, a Goodwill, your retro store. You will see so many Xbox 360, and still some in GameStop still.
Yeah.
They're closing them out.
Yeah, 360, very fairly affordable. You can resurface the games if scratching and scratch discs are an issue. I think it's at that kind of nice spot where you have some nice graphics, but it's so old that you're going to find several people just clearancing them out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's go to our next system.
All right.
This next system is so dear to my heart because I collected for it 3 times, and it is the Wii U. And there's also, let's add the Wii to it because how many Wii games are there, man?
Oh my gosh, I don't know the exact count, but it's thousands.
And every day people are finding this Wii U game is so good, but it was just kind of shovelware, but oh, this is a hidden gem. This is a hidden gem. This is good. This is good. Wii games are everywhere too. And I know from experience, ladies and gentlemen, going to a pawn shop, you can get Wii games cheap, almost like $1.
Yeah.
If they're not Mario, because like in our last video, Mario's rare.
Yeah. So yeah, if you can't find a Wii U, you can go with a Wii. But the nice thing about a Wii U is it's like the deluxe version of playing Wii games. And so, and you get the bonus benefit if you can find Wii U games to play those enhanced versions of games. So, you know, definitely a good pick for the Wii U. The hardest thing about this is to find the hardware. Once you get the hardware, the games, especially the Wii games, are easier to find.
And also too, it has recently, in the making of this video, a lot of the game pads don't turn on, so make sure when you get a Wii U, make sure you test it fully, make sure it works make sure you update your Wii U. Keep it updated. And if you haven't took it out, we didn't see that. I guess Nintendo did not see that issue happening. So
the phablet.
Yeah, with the phablet. So a lot of things happen with it. So make sure, guys, you check that out. And if you can't get a Wii U, a Wii will do just as fine.
Yeah.
Try to find the Wii that has the 4 GameCube, because if you do that, you can play GameCube games, and we know how expensive GameCube games are.
And the back port, if you can find one with a digital port, you can get component cables. I did a video recently talking about Old School doing it. I think there's other companies doing component cables now that are more affordable for the Wii. And there's HD adapters as well.
Oh yeah, the HD adapters are tremendous. Yes. Now, talking about tremendous, we both own this console right along with the Wii U. Its store is closed. And we are talking about the Nintendo 3DS system, or the Nintendo 2DS system. Now, I have the Super Nintendo because, you know, I'm just extra, y'all. I like that. But so right now, as you can hear, I am playing Kirby Planet Robobot, which is a tremendous game. And I play it on 3D. But if you don't like 3D, you can turn it off, or you can get
the 2DS XL. And this was the last model I think that they did before they closed it out. And this is the model I prefer. Battery life is pretty good, and I played a lot of the Metroid, the last Metroid game that they made for this, which was
Federation Force.
No, not Federation Force.
Oh, okay.
Samus Return. It's the remake of Metroid 2.
No, I'm giving a hard time. Federation Force was garbage.
Oh yes, it was. But yeah, the last Metroid game that they made for the 3DS, the remake, which then the same company, I do believe, worked on Metroid Dread.
Oh yeah, they did.
But anyways, fantastic, and play that quite a bit on the 2DS.
And another thing about the 3DS, 2DS systems is a lot of great games. Now, we know it's probably about like a lot of games right now that are expensive that people want. Now, I'm not saying you do it, but it is a way to play those games. And if you know, hink, hink, wink, wink, you know, to find it, you can have what game you want on the 3DS. I'm not advocating for it, but I'm just saying, you know, Nintendo is kind of difficult to bring old games and the store is closed. So, hey, you know, do with that information if you will, you know.
I think the other big thing about a 3DS is kind of like what we talked about the Wii U, backwards compatibility with a huge library of DS games.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And you can find those everywhere, especially loose. So it's a cheap way of jumping into collecting on a basic level.
And don't sleep on the Brain Age games. You know, the Brain Teaser games?
Oh, those are great.
Those are really good. And and they're cheap.
Yeah.
Like what, $1?
Oh yeah, you can find a Brain Age game, and those are fun to dive in, especially if you're a casual gamer.
Oh yeah, and also too, yes, it does. I say help you make you smarter, but it does keep your brain working. It is great. So the last system to collect for here in 2023, and we came to a compromise.
Yeah, compromise.
We had to get a 16-bit system. Yeah. And if you can look at me and you look at John, you already know what we're going to pick. Yeah. I'm picking the Super Nintendo. Why I'm picking the Super Nintendo? Because, guys, come on. A lot of games are under $50. A lot of great games are under $20. You can find games everywhere at garage sales. Well, I ain't gonna say pawn shops, but you can find them at your retro store. I mean, a lot of good and great games. And we'll talk about one way to play them next, but why should they get a Genesis?
Well, it's a little bit more edgier.
Genesis does
16-bit arcade graphics.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis does
16-bit sports action.
You can't do this on Nintendo. Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis
Does.
Genesis does.
Get Joe Montana free, Pat Riley free, Buster Douglas free, Super Monaco GP free, or Columns free.
Genesis does.
What Nintendo?
Yes.
It did better sports games.
True.
Okay, but it was, a little unrefined at times, but I have to say it's a little bit easier to get Sega Genesis clone consoles.
Oh.
And so there's lots of good clone hardware for both the Super Nintendo and a Genesis. It all depends on what you prefer. Now, if you're collecting, I have to say that some Sega Genesis games are cheaper. You can get multi-carts for both of them.
That's what we're talking about. Multi-carts are
and
great.
the multi-carts are a great way to save money if you want to play on original hardware. And they make aftermarket HD adapters for these, so you can play them on modern HD screens. And so there's so many different ways of enjoying 16-bit, whether you prefer Super Nintendo or Genesis.
Or you get both.
Yeah, that would be the right way.
That'd be right. Look at that. Look, see, I think he's not the professor for nothing, guys. Look at that. Well, we hope you enjoyed this collector's guide. 5 great systems. And if you're just starting in your collecting journey, all of these systems are great. They are fun. They are cheap in the right way. I want to thank the professor of retro, as I call him. Y'all keep calling him the professor of retro, John Hancock. Thank you so much again, sir. Yeah. With a beautiful Zelda shirt. And he's talking about Genesis. See, we got Nintendo shirts on, but that's how it is. It's no kind of like one system is better than the other. Correct. Enjoy every system because each system has something special for it.
Absolutely.
And guys, thank you so much, and always remember to do it
the right way.
That's right. See you next time.